need a new phone. James keeps on griping about my phone when he starts to record.
God, new phones are $1,000 these days.
It's okay, I turned mine in.
I'm gonna give you my old bag phone.
Whatever.
Back from 1980. Do you remember those things?
Yeah.
Literally a bag phone.
Yeah.
Most people watch this video won't even know what we're talking about. They don't know what slide rules are either. Tammy's in a good mood today. You know why? Because she's going to go get to see her great-grandbaby.
I get to go bite on his little fat, chubby arms and legs.
Yes. All right, so let's have a look here. What have we got going on today with some questions? Craven Frenches. Thanks, guys. Nice to know I have something special. So here's a beauty. Okay, I'm not sure what that question is. I think they're just... they're just saying thank you. Well, you're welcome. Absolutely. Somebody else says, I noticed that you're making more videos. I love that you do a video every day. Yeah, we try to do a video every day. One of the problems, though, is that we do typically, like today, we're driving to about an hour and a half, and we're going to come back. So we'll probably do 4 or 5 videos, but we won't post those for a few days. So they tend to be about 4 or 5 days old. So if you ask a question and you're expecting an immediate reply, unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen. I apologize for that. Great info as always. Okay, here we go. John Paul Kennedy. Could I use an Isabella and Tan smooth-haired Dachshund stud with my Isabella and Tan smooth-haired Dachshund girl? Not sure if the possible skin health issues are misconceptions. I would think they are definitely misconceptions. I doubt there's any problem at all. Now, full disclosure, you've had a Dachshund.
Huh?
You had a Dachshund one time, didn't you?
A Dachshund. He said Dachshund. It's a Dachshund, not a Dachshund.
It's a Dachshund.
No, not a Dachshund.
If you're German, it'd be Dachshund.
No,
It'd be Dachshund if you're German. I get it closer than you do.
Yeah,
okay,
when
weenie
I was
dog.
a little bitty girl,
You had a weenie dog,
about
didn't you?
5 years old, we had Hilda. She was
Yes.
a black and tan Dachshund, and we had babies with her. That's where my whole thing started.
Yeah. So if you're talking to us about Dachshunds, you can see you're talking to. Stop it. You're talking to. Okay, I'm going to slap the shit out of her in a moment. Yes, I'll just turn the camera off and go blank for a second. Then we'll come back crying with a black guy.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think there's any problem here at all. It certainly wouldn't be in French's. I think that's totally a misconception. But look, don't rely just on us, because you're relying on somebody who had a Dachshund when they were 5 years old giving you advice on this. But I
didn't give the advice. What were they asking?
Well, they asked if there'd be a problem breeding a Isabella and Tan smooth-haired Dachshund with the Isabella and Tan smooth-haired. It'd be two of the same thing.
There would be.
No, you're going to get exactly the same thing. That's exactly.
Isabella Tan.
You're breeding 2 dogs that are what we would call homogeneous, the same.
Yeah.
So you had to get those dogs from somewhere.
Same DNA.
Yeah, it's just
Same DNA is going to be the same DNA on the baby.
Someone's blown smoke here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Go for it. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
Alicia Messer, it's like Dr. Paul, but of puppies. I wanted to be RuPaul. Slightly different. Not Dr. Paul. Well, who's the guy who's the psychiatrist guy? Dr. Phil.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Phil. What about him?
Nothing. Someone's saying I'm like Dr. Paul. I'm not sure who Dr. Paul is. Hopefully it's a compliment. Christy McDonald. So 2 questions here. The first one is, can a merle carry brindle? Absolutely it can. So remember that all of these DNA things, they're all independent of each other. And so where you can have a merle, and you can have a chocolate, and then you can have blue, and you can have brindle all together to produce, that would be a lilac and a brindle lilac merle. So so the question that you ask is, can a merle and a sable have brindle puppies? So the answer to that is the sable absolutely does not have a copy of brindle, so that's not going to introduce brindle into the puppies. However, you haven't told us what the merle is. If it's a brindle merle, absolutely. If it's not a brindle merle, or for instance, if it's a tan pointed merle that you can see, I know it won't carry brindle, you'd be fine. But if it does carry merle, you'd expect half the puppies to carry a copy of merle and show it. KT Kennels, what does it mean when it says dilute cream sable? Let's have a bash at this. Normally when we talk about dilution, we are talking about the blue gene. So we're just going to assume that's what you mean here. So if that's true, then that would be a little D dog. If it's a cream dog, it'd be little e, and it would look cream regardless of whether it was blue, so you wouldn't be able to see the blue.
Because cream covers everything.
Because cream covers everything. And if it's a sable, it would be AYAT, and again, that would show some degrees of kind of shading above the eyes if we didn't have brindle. But again, the cream covers it all, and it'll just look like a cream dog. I hope that answers that question. Rosio H. I have a question. Do you know why a dog won't start heat cycle after having had puppies? My dog almost 2 months late, haven't started heat cycle. Do you know anything that could get her to start her heat cycle? And so somebody said a reply. Okay, so we'll talk about what the answer somebody gave you, which is not one that I'm going to recommend yet, is PG600. PG600 you can buy at Animal Revival. It's a product to be used in swine to bring swine into heat. And there are quite a few Frenchy people who are using it. In fact, if you go to Animal Revival, you'll see most of the people who are commenting there are people who have been using it for Frenchies. Now,
be careful with it.
Yeah, I never used it. I did buy some one time for a dog that I thought, it was a year past coming into heat. And it turned out the dog came into heat about the time this stuff arrived, so I didn't have to use it.
Yeah. You could mess up her uterus big time.
Well, I actually had a conversation with a woman called Kelly who did use it, and she lost a dog. And the vet thinks the reason she lost the dog was because she gave the PG600, and then she had an intestines twist that caused a blockage. Now, whether that, one case doesn't make an argument here, and I suspect there's probably something else.
I've heard of it just blowing up the uterus big time.
Yeah, well, it's a painful injection. The dogs don't like it. They typically don't like having the injection. Again, I don't have any. Here's my thoughts on this. A dog that's 2 months past having a heat cycle, don't get a panic at all.
Yeah.
Don't get a panic at all.
2 more months.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If I was going to do anything that's totally natural and safe, that does work quite well, is to put that girl in close proximity to another dog that's in heat. That does work. It absolutely works in humans, and it does work in dogs, and it's absolutely safe. So I would recommend that you do that as a first. If you can find somebody who's got a dog, or you've got a dog that's in heat, house them together. Let them play together. The PG600, I would wait till a dog is at least a year past when it should be having its heat cycle before I even thought about using PG600, because I think there is a good chance that you can muck things up. And I don't have any sign. I mean, first off, you're using a drug as an off-label use. It's not designed to be used in dogs. It's for swine. But anyway, there's my take on it. Okay. Christina Finney, here in Missouri we can't do rabies, only a licensed vet can. Well, it's the same in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You
could do the rabies, but you're not going to get the identification on a little tag or in their paperwork if, I don't care what kind of dog it is, if it was to bite somebody, you're not going to have to put your dog down because you have proof of when your rabies were.
Exactly. So you can go buy it and do it yourself. If there's no dog...
But you're not going to have that information down there.
No, but if it was a dog that was on a farm, that was never around other people, probably fine. If this is a dog that goes to the dog park and you're in a town and it's around other people and your dog bit somebody, you could be in a situation where your dog gets put down. So then you'd wish you'd had the proper rabies shot. Now, somebody else made a comment here. I'm going to find it. Here we go. Brian Alicia. What are necessary shots for a Frenchie with no health issues? I feel like every time I go to the vet, they make me pay $200 for rabies shots, etc. So this is the other part of the equation. The problem is the rabies shot itself. What's a rabies shot? $15 if you just go buy it?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know what it is today because we actually go get the rabies tag these days. We have given shots before. We never had a problem with it, but these days...
We only do rabies at the vet's office.
We just do rabies at the vet.
We pick up our booster shots and
everything else we do
our
ourselves.
Puppy shots.
Yes.
We pick those up.
Yes. But so part of the problem is the cost of going to the vet typically involves the vet visit as well.
But it's once a year, folks, and it's important to have.
I know, but they're just making a comment on it. I'm making a comment back. So I understand. I mean, The problem is the whole bill can get racked up quite a bit. You know,
Your dog's part of the family. Do its shots.
Yeah, well,
we can all gripe about prices. Let's gripe about gas prices.
Well, yeah, but
meat prices, grocery prices.
Well, I know,
everything.
but still, this is a conversation. So
Gotta
asking
pay for everything.
I understand that, but I mean, I also fully understand why people want to save money, especially in today's times when things are going up like crazy.
Save money in other ways.
All right, so there's your one. That's the great thing about this is that we have slightly different
bounce
answers.
Off of each other.
Yeah, and so you know you get two different views on the same topic, and I mean they're both valid. So I'm not disagreeing with Tammy, but you could do this: shop around. I mean, look. I'll give you an example here.
Don't say any names.
Okay, well I'm not going to say names, but we've got a couple of Chihuahuas, and they're older, and it's time for them to be spayed. We don't, no, not us, but they're time to be spayed. So here is the example on this. The price to get those two Chihuahuas, each one
in the city,
in Oklahoma City, to get them spayed, $2,000 a piece. To get those two dogs spayed in our old hometown from the local vet there, she's great, does C-section for us. $150 a dog. $150.
And we're having blood work and stuff run on them today for.
Yeah, and she said, and the vet said, look, they're older dogs. We want to make sure everything's okay. Let's bring them in. Let's check their hearts. Let's do a little bit of blood work and make sure everything's safe before we even go down this road. So that's a great answer from that vet. So we're not getting a crap vet. We're getting a good vet who cares about what's going on. But the difference is $150 versus off the screen $2,000. Now, we haven't had it done yet, and we'll report back on how the outcome is. Hopefully it all works great because we care about our dogs. We don't choose cheap because we only choose cheap because we think we're getting the same level of service for less money.
Yeah, and I know we are.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point here is you know, in all of these things, what you want is you want a vet that you have a relationship with, especially if you're breeding. You want a vet that will be there for you to give you good advice when you need it, and hopefully at some kind of reasonable price. And by the way, it doesn't ask for a discount. Some vets, most of them aren't going to give you a discount, but if you're a breeder and you're going to go there a lot and you're going to say, hey, I'm going to use you exclusively and I've got 3 dogs and I'm going to come to you and use all of you for all of my veterinary needs, do I get a discount? Do I get a professional discount?
Doesn't hurt to ask. They can always just say no.
And they can always say no, and that's fine. You know, that's fine.
And if they say yes, good for you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
But shop around. You can find these vets.
Yes.
Make sure the important question is, if you're going in for a C-section or you're looking for someone to do a C-section, make sure you ask them, have you done C-sections? Have you done C-sections on bulldogs? That's important.
So let's just finish this off by just talking about what's the question that hasn't been asked, which is specifically, how do you find a vet that you like? So I think this kind of brings this up. So to me, there's, and Tammy, you chime in, I think there's a number of things that matter here. The quality of service, obviously. You know, if you've never used this vet before, try and find some people who've used it and see whether you get recommendations. Some of these vets in the bigger cities will be on, you know, places like Yelp where they'll get feedback. And don't get tied up on not having 5 stars. Somebody's always going to get upset. What you want to see is reviews of at least, you know, 20 people, of which the majority of them given 4.5 or 4 to 5 stars. If you get 1 star in there, I don't get too worried about that because things go wrong and people kind of get a little bit silly about how they report things. But find a vet that you're getting good reviews. Number 2, visit with the vet or go there the first time and see whether he's amiable towards you. Does he agree with what you're doing? Is he in the same mindset as you? Specifically if you're breeding dogs, is he okay with that? Some of these vets want no part of breeding dogs and take every opportunity to do things like spay dogs. So find out whether their mentality is in the same kind of, they're in the same ballpark that you're in. Availability. Is this person going to be around and available for you when you need him? Does he have after-hours service? And if so, what's the price for that? And then generally, what are his charges? You know, ask about a few questions. You know, if my dog comes in, do I get charged for an office visit? If so, what is that going to cost? If I'm going to go get my shots done, what's it going to cost for the shots? Someone's just...
Yeah, I know. Unnecessary what he just did.
Yeah. Some vets...
Paying attention.
Some vet, for instance, our vets, we could buy the shots from them, not the rabies shot, but all the other shots. There's 6 weeks, the 9 weeks, the 12-week shots, and they'll give them to us and we administer them ourselves. So there's
well, we pick them up when we need them.
Yes.
6 weeks, what we do, we give their shots at 6 weeks, 9 weeks, 12 weeks, and if they're with us after 12 weeks, we could go again at 15 weeks, and then that's usually when you get your rabies at 15 weeks.
Yep.
I know in California they do them different. Florida they probably do them different, but
Yep.
here in Oklahoma and Texas, I think that's pretty much.
Right. Well, different vets do it
Same
differently.
routine.
Some vets want to do it every 3 weeks, some want to do it every 4 weeks. I mean, we do it every 3 weeks.
We do it every 3 weeks.
That's
If you
been-
run into 4 weeks, it's okay. Do not do it any sooner than 3 weeks. If you're doing it every 2 weeks, you got to start your shots all over again. It's
Or if you do
not
it, or if you do
working.
it past 5 weeks, if you do it 5 weeks, you got to start all over again, don't you? There's two different. You can't get it wrong at either end. It's the way the vaccines work, and I'm not going to go into it
you
here.
need at least 3 weeks in between each puppy shot.
And you need to do it you need to do it religiously at the right times.
Right.
But the point here is that when we go do it that way, we don't pay for an office visit. They give us the shots and the needles. By the way, it needs to be on ice. You take it home, stick it in your refrigerator. Don't leave it in your car for hours because you'll ruin the vaccine.
I have forgotten, put it in my glove box, forgotten about it, and I just kick myself
Throw it
when I
away.
do that. You
Throw
got to
it.
throw it away.
Yes.
Can't use it.
So looking at prices on this, if you look at the price of doing it, can you put your shade down? So
Coming up from above.
the time that it really does save some money probably is if you're going to buy, if you've got a lot of dogs and you're administering a lot of shots at the same time, or you're going to stick them in the fridge and do them, you can go buy a lot of 25 or 50 shots and you're going to save quite a bit of money doing
Yeah,
that.
if you're having them shipped to you, make sure they're on ice and they're cold when you get them.
They'll charge you for for that, and you absolutely want to pay for that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they won't
Yeah.
guarantee the shots.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give shots that have been got too hot.
Look how pretty that is.
So okay, there's 17 minutes worth because of that Alicia's question at the end there. Hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed giving it. Did you enjoy this video?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bye. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, a disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.